Hello, I'm Tim Hellman.
And I'm Jake Tenpass.
And this is Movie Talk. Today we're going to review the movie Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise Kingdom, of course, is directed by Wes Anderson. It takes place on a remote island in New England that's only accessible by ferry, and there's no cars on the island. It is the story of a young orphan boy who is part of a local scout troop, and his plans to run away from the scout troop and meet up with a girl who is the daughter of characters played by Bill Murray and Frances McDormand. So the movie is partially about their adventures together after they meet up, and then also partially about the rest of the island's residents banding together and attempting to find them.
Yeah.
I pretty much enjoy the hell out of every single Wes Anderson movie. I mean, he's definitely one of my favorite directors.
Right.
Almost from the opening moments of Moonrise Kingdom, with the kid putting on the record and the girl sitting there and reading, and it's describing the orchestra. You know, you've got the views of the house. Everything about that movie was nostalgic for me. And even though it takes place in the early to mid 60s, there was something about that house that really, I don't know, maybe it sparked memories of beach houses that I visited as a kid, but there was something that just instantly tapped into this feeling of nostalgia I had. And I think one of the keys about the movie that makes it successful is in this day and age when we're all sort of jaded moviegoers a little bit, we've seen just about everything that can happen in movies. The one way to make you still react to the movie like a child is to have children in the lead roles. I just really thought that he nailed the vibe between those two kids, like the awkward sort of like petting and kissing and trying to figure out each other's bodies. You know, I mean, it's like, it really, I mean, to me that was, you know, middle school. It's like you're uncomfortable in your own body, you're fascinated with women, but you don't really understand how they work, and yet you want to be around them as much as possible, but yet it's like kind of awkward and nerve-wracking. And I mean, there was so much of that was carried off, and yet at the same time, in true Wes Anderson fashion, the kid is sort of this like suave, debonair explorer. You know, he offers her a stick of beef jerky, and he knows how to navigate on a map, and he knows how to like set up camp and start a fire, and you know, there's all these aspects of it as being like this man in a child's body. But then at the same time, of course, you have the adults who all act like children.
Oh yeah. One of the key things I thought about the film was that it's about kids looking to their future in the adults, and they see major disappointment.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what we're going to turn out like, and so that's the driving force behind them running away.
Absolutely. And at the same time, the adults are terrified sort of by the freedom of the children. They're terrified by the fact, because their lives have all turned out really unhappy.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this was one of my favorite roles for both Bruce Willis and Edward Norton in a long time.
They were the two most likable adult characters, at least.
Oh, definitely.
I love their characters.
Bruce Willis is always at his best. I mean, because we know him as an action hero, he's always at his best when he plays somebody that's either nerdy or awkward, or, you know, I mean, he's got that terrible comb over, and he's... yeah, he was really relatable, and even though he's sort of, you know, he's like this small town bumbling, like, you know, Barney Fife kind of sheriff character, and he's also, you know, having an affair with the Frances McDormand character, he's still quite likable despite that. And obviously Frances McDormand and Bill Murray's relationship is so awful that it's hard to really like care much about it.
So I really like the movie because it's about outcasts. I think a lot of filmmakers have that in their background, and that's one of the reasons I like film, is because a lot of filmmakers are telling stories that I can really relate to.
Right.
But
well, I mean, I mean, like Howard Zinn, the historian, said that history is written by the victors, but film is almost like a history that was written by the victims in a way. A lot of times, the best films were one that were written by people who didn't necessarily, they succeeded in their art, but they didn't necessarily, you know, succeed in other aspects of their life, or they felt victimized in other ways. But yeah, you know,
I'm not saying victimized, but feel left out a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a better way of putting it.
Victims feels a little, I don't know.
Powerless.
Well, it feels like you're overly feeling sorry for yourself.
Right.
Left out is more appropriate. Okay. Yeah.
You know, and I love the whole staging of the play of Noah and the Ark, and I loved all the stuff in the church where they're dressed up in the animal costumes. I found all of that just very dreamlike, and you know, it felt like a dream I was having when I was a kid, and that's kind of a lot of that movie really felt like that to me. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, nostalgia is definitely a huge part of the movie.
For sure.
So I'd give it 4.5 stars.
I don't give many 5-star reviews, but I'm tempted to give that. I can't really imagine a single thing I would have changed about that movie. And for what it was trying to be, a coming-of-age story, a comedy, a character-driven drama, I think it succeeded on all those levels.
You said it's like your favorite movie this year.
It's so far I think it's so far my favorite movie of the year. Yeah, I mean that.
Well, that sounds like a 5-star review to me. But
all right, I'm doing it. 5 stars. 5 stars.
For me, Anderson, he's just a little. I love him so much, but it's something just a little too abstract about his movies for me always. But except for Bottle Rocket, for some reason that one wasn't. But there's just something that's a little bit off for me to completely relate to it. But to completely on an emotional level anyway.
And I guess because I'm a little off. That aspect of it really works for me, and he gets what I felt like as a kid. I mean, Jason Schwartzman's character in Rushmore is probably like the ultimate expression of what I felt like as a kid, wanting to dabble a little bit in every club, but never really feeling like you truly belonged. And I guess I related in that way to this protagonist also.
Definitely a recommendation.
Oh, absolutely. And, yeah, if you didn't see it, go see it.
Definitely if you're a fan of Anderson, I'd say.
And even if sometimes in the past you thought they were a little too abstract or whatever, I think there's enough meat and solid storytelling, and if you were ever a kid and you ever were in love, I think there's something to relate to.
Oh yeah.